Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Dominic, the Primetime Treasure Hunter. Thanks for coming by to check out another video. Another month is over. October has come and gone, and we are now into a brand new month. It is Friday, November 1st, and you know what time it is. It is time to go over the top 10 most expensive items that sold in my eBay store for the prior month. Now, we had been going on a pretty nice streak of 3 months in a row with the top 10 items all being items that sold for at least $100. Now, the streak was broken this month for a variety of factors, which I won't go into in this video, but it still was a very good month overall. We're going to start at the number 10 item. I'll tell you a little bit about it. Some of these are things you've seen in my videos before. If you follow me on my Facebook group or on Instagram, you may have seen them as well. But I'm going to spice things up a little bit for you tonight with this video. And if you enjoy it, if you enjoy some of these little extra features I put in here, then let me know. So let's start off at number 10. You'll see what I mean in just a moment. So number 10 are these vintage little Lulu and Tubby Tompkin hand-painted figures. They date from about the 1960s to 70s. Even though they don't have an actual date imprinted on it, you could just tell from the construction and also just the feel of it. So we've got Primetime, the Feelotron in effect, so you could just reach right through the screen there and touch the item and feel for yourself and see what I'm talking about. That little dog is so cute. But be on the lookout for little Lulu items. You need to be able to identify these characters when you come across them in a situation like this. So if you remember, this is me at the flea market, and I'm at the end of the flea market. It wasn't that great of a day, and I come across this shelf that had all of these different items on them, and I wound up making a good deal. I wound up getting them for just a few bucks each. I also got that Captain Crunch one down there, but you could see right there I'm pointing them out, and then I go grab them. So it was a nice job, a nice deal on that one, and there you could see me right there showing them off. So I was very excited to be able to sell those for $70. So I took a best offer. This shows the price that I had it for. Sometimes the prices you'll see are the actual sale price, but if I took a best offer, I'll let you know. So that one was a $70 sale. So very happy. Again, be on the lookout for little Lulu and Tubby Tompkins. You'll see them occasionally in doll form. You may see them in ceramic form like this. I'll give you some other views of them here too, so you could just see from behind. You may also come across them in comic book form or comic strip form. So these are very old characters. They date back to the 1930s, 1940s. There were comic books. Dell made comic books with them, and I've sold some of them before. So look for them in all different formats. They still have a small collector's base who is willing to pay up for them. So that's my take on little Lulu and Tubby Tompkins. So we're going to move on to the next one here. And this one I showed previously in a return video that I had where someone had returned this X-Men number 107. It was originally sold at the price you see for $90. Then someone returned it because they felt bad spending $90 on it and claimed there was something wrong with it, which there wasn't. I did a whole video on this, and you could go watch it if you want. It was done like a couple of weeks ago. But this one, I actually resold it after I listed it for $75. So that's the sale price on this one. It's relevant for a couple of reasons. One, it is an X-Men comic book, and it's in those early 100s. As you could see there, there is the issue number 107. So that's important. It's a 1970s book, so those are also popular. People are looking more and more for books from that Bronze Age era. It's a Bronze Age of comics. And these characters here, right here, called, you see them in the background there, the green guy and some of the other characters around, they're called the Starjammers, and you could see that it says that right there, and they're very popular. So if you see anything with Starjammers on it, you may want to look that up as well. But any of these X-Men issues that are in the low 100s or below that, definitely check comps on them. Even if they have some damage on them, they'll still sell. They're excellent books. I want to show you, I've shown you before how I display whole lots of comic books if I have those. But what I do with the individual books, by the way, is I show the cover like this. Then I will do a side picture because collectors are going to want to see the spine if they're going to pay up $90, $75 or more for a book. So they want to see that. You can't get the spine in this view. You can only get this part of it, but they want to see a flat lay horizontally like this of the spine. So make sure you do that. You want to get those corners in there. Also, people are going to want to see the back of the book for an expensive book. I don't put the backs on for every book, but for expensive books, people want to see that. And I remember that movie, Orca. That was an interesting movie. Then I will show the first page like this because people want to see what that looks like. It has the date on it and everything like this. So you've got that. People also want to see this page because what can happen sometimes in comic books, and you can't always tell it from the front, is that sometimes when you open up this book, you may see some holes right down the crease that could get hidden if you're just looking at it at this front view. You may not see those holes. It's only while splaying it open. I love saying the word splaying. When you splay it open, there you go. You know, you may see some holes there. Now, there's obviously not any here, but in some comic books, you'll find that. And then these splash pages are great to show. Like, pick the page that is the most dramatic. I know Esme's probably watching this. Thrifty Esme, go follow her on YouTube. She's got a great channel, and I've been showing her a lot about how I display certain things to maximize attention for them from your buyers. You want to draw them in and put the pictures up that are going to be the ones that are going to draw the most attention in and make people most interested to buy them. So bright, colorful pages, big, flashy, splashy pages like that, those are very helpful to get. So I had pennies into that, by the way. That was from the Got Junk collection that I picked up. I've talked about that in other videos. I'm not going to dwell on it here, but that is another great 100% profit item from that set. The next one, some of you may remember me showing it on Instagram, and I'm actually going to show you my Instagram in a second, which I've never done before on my YouTube channel. I always talk about it. I say go follow at prime_time_treasure, but I put some things up there that I don't show on my YouTube channel, so I'm going to give you an example of this here. This is actually all credit to Mrs. Primetime, my wife. She went out and sourced this while she was sourcing some furniture on Facebook Marketplace. She picked it up for $10, and we wound up selling this thing for $80. Now, it's actually a music box. It's really cool. So you take the Woodstock and the Snoopy out, and you put it right on top, and that's a little magnet that is right on the bottom of their feet there. And when you open up the piano, there's these magnetic gears inside, and when you plug it in right here, and it also could run on batteries, but when you plug it in, what happens is they start dancing around. Now you can kind of see that here, and I think I may have a picture of it with it open. That's the back of it. There it is. So that's what it looks like when it's open right here. But if you actually want to see them move around, and I don't think I have any sound on this right now, you have to go to my channel if you want the sound. But this is one example of something I put on my Instagram page, like a little minute clip. And you could see here that when you open it up, you see there it starts moving around. How cool is that? And it plays the Snoopy song, the Charlie Brown Snoopy song. So I thought that was really cool how it did that. Really awesome item. So it's a nice anniversary piece for Snoopy there. So awesome piece. A lot of credit to Mrs. Primetime. And thank you. There we got Carol Cedrone right there, one of my Jersey girls, and Jessie shops. Jessie likes to thrift. She's awesome too. Go follow both of them. They both have Instagram accounts as well. So when you drop by there, give CC Cedrone and Jessie.shops a follow for sure. Tell them Primetime sent you. This one here I'm going to dedicate to my friend Carl Bach, who I know is watching this. Carl Pink Panther says hi. If you remember, I found this at an estate sale when I went there with my father-in-law, and this was towards the end of the sale. I went down into the basement, and I just found this creepy head. Now, this creepy head has legendary status now among loyal Primetime fans. So you could see here me grabbing it, and I just thought it was interesting because it was weird. It's made of solid wood. It's strong wood. Carl knows. He could tell in the comment section. It's got these 2 hand pieces, which you could do what you want. You could stick them in the ground if you want for a Halloween decoration or something. You could see there the price is $10. Carl actually picked it up for me when I was on live with Don the Auction Professor. He wound up getting it for $85. So thank you very much, Carl, for that purchase. And I made a joke right about here in the video. I said, Mrs. Primetime is going to kill me. Now, at that point, I did not yet have the plan to take that head and stick it in the refrigerator. And by the way, I didn't say this, but Mrs. Primetime's dad was in on that trick. So you see me looking over in that video and laughing afterwards. I'm looking at Mrs. Primetime's dad and we're cracking up because we scare her when we put the head in the refrigerator and you can hear her scream out loud. So go check that video out. There's a picture of a cemetery in front of it. It's just from a couple weeks ago. If you didn't see it, it's a hilarious video. I had a lot of fun making that one. So that one was an $85 sale. Again, thank you very much, Carl. This one here is X-Men number 266. Now, I talk a lot in my videos about, well, I have pennies into this item and it's all profit. And that's true for a lot of items that I sold. And a lot of times I entitled this video the most expensive and the most profitable items, but I didn't use that. Notice in the beginning of this video, I said the most expensive because this item is actually one of my get my money back items. And if you look over here, if you remember, I did this, I look scared to death in that video. What is wrong with my face right there? I don't know why I look so scared. I look like, oh my gosh, that is so weird. Anyway, so maybe I was just super pumped up from that day. But if you look back there, you see it says 9.2. There's the item right there. That's the book. Now, I purposely picked up that book for a couple reasons. One, I knew, I spent about $400 or so on this collection. Now, there's a ton of stuff. You can see there's just boxes and boxes lined up. And I'm going to show you something else from that box that's sold. It's actually the number, I'll give you a little tease. It's actually the #1 item that sold, the most expensive item this month. But my goal, I always tell you when I buy these hauls and I spend hundreds of dollars or more, that my goal is to try to get my money back with a couple of sales, and this is one item. So this is a graded comic book. It's Uncanny XMen number 266, and it's an important book because it has the first full appearance of Gambit. Now, I talked about this in a prior video that there's some debate as to what you would call the first true Gambit issue because he does appear as a cameo in Uncanny X-Men number 14. But that story actually comes after this one, so there's debate in the comic world about which one you actually want to call first or not. But this is the one that goes for more money, even if you have it ungraded. So this is formally graded, and it's in a slab from CGC. So that's the #1 top grading comic book company. And the funny thing is about this, like, I knew the rate for this book. It's very easy to figure out. That's why I love graded slabs, because you could tell from the comp data very easily what the going rate is for these books. And so I knew the rate for this was right around what I had it priced at, $140. Now, I'm willing to take a little bit off if someone wants to, make a deal. But it's funny that I had about a month, even though it's a popular book, by the way, and even though I had for the lowest possible price, I came to probably like 5 to 10 people lowballing me trying to get this book for me for $60. Now, who is doing that? They're comic dealers, okay? They're other dealers who they want to try to get the book for me for $60 because they know it's worth $125 to $140. They want to get it, put it in their store, sell it for $140 to a customer, and then they just made $60 on me. Well, I'm not going to let that happen. So I got it to get my money back from my big deal that I just made, and to get the actual retail value out of it. And so that's what happened. Someone offered me $125 on it, so I took $125 for this graded book. But just let that be a lesson that sometimes you could have an item, you have it priced perfectly right, you could have it at the best possible price, but sometimes you're gonna have people who try to come in and just try to get that item for you at a really low price. And if you're feeling particularly desperate, if your sales are really low, you may be prone to make a bad deal like that. Stick to your guns. Someone's going to eventually come along who's going to realize the value and they're going to buy it. And I would tell people when I respond to them, sorry, I already have it for the lowest price that's available right now. So if they send me an offer that's way off, I just decline it. I'm not even going to counteroffer. I know some people counteroffer on everything. Go to my playlist section. I have an entire section on how to deal with lowballers and how to negotiate. And I'm telling you that from the perspective of a psychologist. For those who don't know, I practice as a board certified neuropsychologist in a hospital, so I try to bring a lot of psychological insights to this channel, and so I have a lot of videos like that if you want to go check that out. So with that being said, let's move on to the next one. Yes, once again, the LGB Trains pop their head up again. This is the coal one. I really love that. Look at that coal right up top. It's a perfect one to put up right around for Christmas time. Really nice piece. This one I took a best offer for $125. I know I've talked about it a million times. I said if I say this again, and no one's complained, you guys are so nice, but I've said so many times, go watch the video, Picking Under Pressure. I talk about how I got all these trains and the state sale contents and how I made my money back real fast. So I figured I would just bring up the video to, refresh your memories. Or also, if you never saw it before, go to, there it is. You can see it says Picking Under Pressure. And actually that Shell gas station one that you see right there, I actually have that one up in my eBay store up right now for a pretty decent price. I think I've got it up for like 40 to 50 bucks or something. It's not too bad, includes shipping. So go check it out. If you like those kind of trains, if you like Shell stuff, really decent price on that. It's the cheapest you could find it on eBay. That Mighty Most sold really well. And you'll see as this, hopefully this picks up here. Yeah, so there's a bunch of other trains. A lot of these already sold. I picked every one of these trains up in the boxes. And right up top there, you could see it. The top train to the right there, that is the one that you see right over here that sold for $125. So one of the things I like doing on my channel is I really like showing you the progression from going out to even plan, by the way, sometimes the planning stage, and then sourcing it, bring it back, listing it, sometimes showing you how I package it, and then actually showing it through to completion. I think that's very helpful for learning. I mean, I would get that out of my own, something I'd say I took out of my career in healthcare in terms of following patients from, the moment they came into the, not the moment, not from the ER, but, right after neurosurgery for a brain injury or a stroke or something, and following them on the coma floor, and then following them on, inpatient and a step down unit, and then following them when they got to the rehab floor, and then following them as an outpatient, and then seeing them come back when they no longer need to follow up anymore. That's one of the best ways to learn, is when you're following things from the beginning all the way to the end. So that's one of the things I try to bring to this channel, and I hope that you all find that helpful. So that was that one there. And then many of you are familiar with this one because this goes into my Star Wars set that I have shown before. And this was that haul that I had in the, and if Chris Cernock's watched this, I know he loves this haul. When I went down into the cellar or the crawl space, you can actually see it right here. I brought it up so you can see, because I've talked about it so much, I figured want to just show a little visual associated with it. So if you're new, go watch that video. Huge Star Wars haul. I go down. Mrs. Primetime's actually filming me right there. She came with me. Very fortunate circumstance because she's not always with me. She just happened to be there. It was a great way to see me just kind of go in there. And before I went back there, by the way, there was stuff packed all the way back there for decades. So that stuff had just been cleared out. And you could see right there, just get this moving, that's actually it right there. You could see there's the TIE fighter. There also was the Darth Vader TIE fighter, was a black one. I believe I showed that one last month. So there was a lot of interesting stuff that showed up on that video. So if you love Star Wars stuff, go check it out. And by the way, if you're into toys and stuff and you missed it, you have got to go watch the live show I did this week. I usually just go 60 minutes, but I went 90 minutes with Michael D. French from Retro Blasting. We talk about vintage Star Wars toys, the Rebel Armored Snow Speeder, and all sorts of things. He's a true expert in toys, so please go check out that video and smash the like button for it, because he was so generous with his time. Guy's got about 60,000 subscribers on his channel, and he's amazing. Go watch his videos. It's like movie quality. He has a degree in film. Go check out Michael D. French on Retro Blasting. Okay, so the next items. Now, these actually go as number 2 and 3 because I actually had 2 packs of these, and I sold a previous pack of these. These are the Kiss pencils from 1978. So I have shown these once before, but I made 2 sales of these. Now you could see my price there was $185. I actually took best offers for both of them. So one of them I sold for $165 this month, and then I sold another one for $150. I believe the first one I sold this month was for $150, then the second for $165. But I got these at a garage sale literally for free. There's a guy who I had actually gone there on a Friday, and I bought a lot of comic books from him and a lot of stuff, and it was clear that this guy, he just didn't care anymore about material possessions. He was just kind of like a very free-spirited kind of hippie guy. He had a motorcycle that he said he was just going to ride across the country on, and he didn't want to leave a lot of possessions behind, and so he was just going to go tour the country, and he was just giving stuff away, and he was literally going into his house. He wouldn't let me in the house, but he would just go in and just bring stuff out sometimes, and once in a while when I was squatting down and just doing things, he would just come by and drop things in my bag, and he dropped in 3 packages of these mint sealed Kiss pencils from 78. The first set I sold for $237.50, then $165, and then the $150. So I made like over $500 on 12 pencils that I got for free. It's absolutely crazy. It's an amazing score. And I actually brought that because I went back the next day, Saturday, which is when I got the Kiss pencils. I brought Mrs. Primetime and both of my kids, Primetime Junior and Little Miss Primetime. And to this day, we still talk about that garage sale as one of the craziest, best garage sales we ever did. I mean, this guy was letting you fill up an entire grocery bag for $1 of collectibles. Collectibles, not clothes, collectibles, like 70s, 60s, 50s collectibles. I still have, if you saw my interview or video with Don where I pulled out that Evel Knievel motorcycle doll, I thought that was one of them, that toy. I mean, there's so much stuff I still have from that I need to start listing. It's crazy. All right, so that leaves me up to my number 1 item right here, and that's sold. And the funny thing about this is that I got an offer last night. No joke. You could look up the actual item. I'll show you in a minute. At 11:58 p.m. I get the offer, and I'm racing to accept it because I wanted to include it in this month. This one right here, it's the Mad magazines, 50 Mad magazines from the 1970s. I've talked about these many times before, and I've shown you time and time and again how much money you can make with Mad magazines. And yes, I put these covers in the front on purpose to get attention. That's why I put the middle finger one right there, because it got your attention, right? That's the whole point. Get attention right there. Everything, the Godfather, the Jaws, the Star Trek, everything I could think of to get attention. And even behind it, you could see there, I try to get, like, there's Charles Bronson and Death Wish, all those types of things. Then like a nice little dramatic picture like this, which just shows how many there are stacked up. And then you just show them, break them up in little chunks and quadrants, and you could show them all that way. So I always tell you with the Mad magazines, if you're going for, they start them in the 50s. It's very hard to find them in the 50s, but if you get them in the 60s, 70s, even 80s, $1 a piece or less on them, and you could still make out very well. These sold for $170. And the crazy thing about this is that, so this is also a get my money back item. It's not profit yet. So this is get my money back. So you add that 170 to this one over here. That's the 125. So right there, we're doing pretty good. That's $270, $295, so almost $300. So remember, all this stuff, I paid around like $400 or so for all this stuff. And this stack of Mad magazines right here is seriously a tiny, tiny sliver almost of what is in these boxes, because 2 of those boxes were filled with Mad magazines from the 70s, 60s, 80s. There were some more modern than that, but most of them were vintage. So that's what I have for you right there. I think that was really a great month overall. A lot of things there to learn from, and hopefully it gives you some ideas of things to look for when you are out and about. Again, I hope you enjoyed how I tried to spice the video up a little bit more this time with some video clips. If you'd like to see that again, please let me know in the comment section. Let me know what your favorite item was that you saw, or a favorite clip or something like that. I always enjoy hearing that from you. So thanks everyone for watching the video, and stay tuned. There'll definitely be some more coming up soon. And also make sure that you come by to the Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. The link is down below. I already gave a shout out to the Instagram account. And please, very, very important, we just ran into November, and you can see there we're at 8,530 some odd subscribers there. I'd really like to try to get to that 10,000 mark by the end of the year. So I'm going to need your help to do that. That means letting other people know, friends, family, about the channel. Ask them to subscribe, and hopefully we could get that sub number up and keep the channel growing. It's important to hit the like number, and it's important to just talk about the channel if you're enjoying it. That keeps me going. It keeps me motivated to keep making videos. And again, it helps get the information out to others if you think it's helpful. So with that, I'm going to sign off. Enjoy the rest of my weekend, and I hope you all have a great weekend as well.